Welcome to Morning Cafe. It's a beautiful morning, and as always, we find it very pleasant, of course, to be here to ensure that we update you on what is happening in the world of news. We equally take a look at the stories of the day that we have presented and we have prepared for you. So welcome on board, and as we'll always do it, of course, we take a look at what we have from my team, and most importantly, we also take a look at what the newspaper says. So we'll be delving deep into all this. Welcome on board. We take a look at the politics of the day right here in the country, what is happening on, of course, in terms of the fight against COVID-19, and also the aspect of dealing with corruption right here in the country. So karibu sana, my name is Linda Alela, and let's start off by taking a look at the stories that have been prepared by my team as we proceed. And Kenya has recorded 155 new coronavirus cases in the last 24 hours, that is as of yesterday. The national COVID-19 tally now stands at 4,952 cases. Nairobi has the highest number of new confirmed cases at 104, followed by Busia with 19 cases. Migori has 10 cases. Mombasa has 9. Uasin Gishu has 4. Kiambu has 3. Machakos 2. And Nakuru 2. While Kisumu and Kajiado recorded 1 cases each. Now, 3 more people died from COVID-19, bringing the virus death toll in the country to 128. And in the last 24 hours, as I have said, and 102 people have been discharged from the hospitals. And away from that to this matters politics, the Senate Select Committee probing Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru impeachment started its hearing yesterday. Waiguru, however, denied all the charges against her before the 11-member committee. And as Elizabeth Mutuku now reports, witnesses in the probe were pressed hard to provide evidence against Waiguru.
The Select Committee probing Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru commenced its hearing a few minutes after 9 a.m. Tuesday. The County Assembly thought its lawyers tabled the charges against the county boss. Waiguru, however, denied all the charges against her, accusing the County Assembly of malice. Waiguru is facing, among other charges, failing to deliver an annual state of county at the County Assembly, undermining the authority of the County Assembly, violation of Public Procurement Act, and abuse of office.
It's actually application of a bank guarantee extension.
Waiguru, however, denied all the charges against her, accusing the County Assembly of malice. Waiguru is facing, among other charges, failing to deliver an annual state of county at the County Assembly, undermining the authority of the County Assembly, violation of Public Procurement Act, and abuse of office.
Officer from their position. Impeachment and removal from office was never intended and should never be based on falsities, innuendos, rumors, hearsay, conjecture, and certainly not malice.
The County Assembly, however, claims that Waiguru was out to undermine the House on their mandated duties. The MCS says she indirectly influencing awarding of tenders in full violation of law.
It's actually one company paid for 2 contracts.
But so there is no overpayment because the two contracts, what are the amounts of both contracts in total?
Chair, previously I alluded to a report from the PPRA. And Chair, if you can take your time to study this report, this is one of the tender that PPRA questioned, the manner in which it was prosecuted, then the manner in which it was paid. Actually, Chair, from the information, the tender was meant for 4 facilities we have in Kirinyaga, but it was narrowed down to 2 facilities.
Chair,
the actual sum was 27 million for one of the tender, and they narrowed down to 2 facilities.
Further, Waiguru was queried over 10 million travel allowance, which according to her lawyers, some of the officials who accompanied her were members of the County Assembly. Majority leader in the County Assembly is among those who are said to have accompanied Waiguru abroad.
You see, the governor has never refunded that money.
She has refunded some actually after this motion was tabled, Chair. And in fact, one of the receipts that is provided here, reimbursement was done on 17th of this month, Why are that? Therefore, translate, if there was no such a motion, the intention was to defraud the residents of Kirinyaga their funds.
Waiguru has also been accused of mismanaging the health sector in the county.
The incinerator and autoclave have still not yet been fixed. Infectious wastes are being disposed in the hospital grounds that is accessible to patients, other health workers and the community at large. Actually, where the waste products have been disposed, as it has been shown severally on television, is close to the pediatric ward where we have the children. That has caused a lot of problems.
The probe continues tomorrow before Malala-led committee retreat to write its report, while we be tabled in Parliament within 10 days. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47 Nairobi.
All right, and on that very note, we have Otieno Ragalo joining us this morning, of course, a political analyst. As we delve deep, also remember how we always do it this mornings. As we look at the stories that we have prepared, we also take a look at what has been captured in the newspapers. And now that they speak of more or less the same things, we started off with a story on COVID-19 cases. And now that Ragalo is here, what do you make of the battle that we are having right here on matters dealing with COVID-19, sir?
Oh, thank you. COVID-19 is a viral disease, and this viral disease is a disease that I would tell you will not be away from us forever. We just have to be honest. Just like HIV came in, just like we have viral disease measles, that's just like we have other viral diseases. Virus, once we got it, it does not leave. What we have to do is to find ways of living with it and find ways of staying with it, just like we found ways of living and staying with HIV.
Apolaito of telling us that we should proceed and have the economy reopened, activities back to normalcy, even as, of course, the specialists project that this would land us into a worse situation.
I agree. It will lead us to our situation. And that's why I'm saying we need to find a way to live with it. Find a way to live with it is find a way to get our hospitals well equipped. You had, CIA only had 10 isolation beds and nil ICU, meaning isolation beds is what we have, no ICU in Siaya. And many other counties still mimic Siaya, they just like Siaya. How do we get ICUs in those counties? How do we get enough isolation beds in those counties? How do we train our healthcare workers how to prevent themselves also? Remember, HIV came as more of a contact viral disease. This is aerosol viral disease, meaning the virus goes to the air, gets suspended there. You get it by inhalation, and you cannot prevent it, and that's why it goes to even high-end, very protected areas. You will find virus. You know very well some countries, even their prime minister, like Prime Minister of UK, got the virus, and many other places got the virus. And economy reopening, I would say economy is already reopened. I don't know reopening means what.
All right.
Because Kenyans are moving. You get out in the morning at 9, go to Thika Road around Pangani, you get the snarl up. If someone had COVID there and the windows are open and 1 or 2 or 3 people will get COVID from that snarl up, we're already having traffic jams all over. You move around, people are doing their business. Go to Gikomba market is opened. So economy reopening, per se, it's already open. What you don't have is clear movement for people out and inside Nairobi and all the other places that restrictions have been put. Sleeping at 10 or closing our country at 9 and opening at 4, it's normal now. It's normal. It was really abnormal when it was closing at 7 and opening at 5. At least that time people find it very hard, but now it's really normal to be in the house at 9 and to be out at 4.
At 4 in the
morning. So we are already open. Yes.
All right. How dangerous that is a question of wait and see, even as Germany imposes fresh lockdown after coronavirus outbreak at meat factory. And that meant that in the event that, they looked at things and they argued that maybe it is important they go back to normalcy. But it looks like normalcy has turned out to be an undoing for them. So we hope it does not get to that point. And we have also touched on a story on Waiguru. Let's pick this story also, and then we come up and properly take at the roundup of it, which is actually also the biggest story on the People's Daily's front page and across all other newspapers. And as the Senate yesterday probed charges leveled against Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, the back and forth, and of course now it stops on what exactly will play out, even as they take a look at what it is that would happen worst, even as the members of the County Assembly were pushed to ensure that they provide evidence that is going to substantiate this process of impeachment. Let's take a look at this story and we come back with that.
The Select Committee probing Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru commenced its hearing a few minutes after 9 a.m. Tuesday. The County Assembly thought its lawyers tabled the charges against the county boss. Waiguru, however, denied all the charges against her, accusing the County Assembly of malice. Waiguru is facing, among other charges, failing to deliver an annual state of county at the County Assembly, undermining the authority of the County Assembly, violation of Public Procurement Act, and abuse of office.
It's actually application of a bank guarantee extension.
Waiguru, however, denied all the charges against her, accusing the County Assembly of malice. Waiguru is facing, among other charges, failing to deliver an annual state of county at the County Assembly, undermining the authority of the County Assembly.
It is a picture that has been making rounds on social media for the better part of Tuesday evening. Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru seemingly at ease here, a phone in hand, and her thoughts perhaps lost in the online poker game she was playing. This amid Waiguru's goose already cooking before the 11-member Special Senate Committee, led by Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala, to probe her impeachment by Kirinyaga members of the County Assembly. Off and on, Waiguru was spotted smiling before this light exchange between the governor's defense and Mutira MCA David Kinyua Wangui, culminating in intrigues at the Senate on Tuesday.
Has that directive on essential services been lifted so that the county is now fully operational? Yes or no?
Chair, I would wish to seek for your intervention on this.
I think the reason why I'm asking that he abides by my request on how I want questions answered is also to save on my 25 minutes. If it takes 10 minutes on one answer, it means I will not have done justice for my client.
Waiguru's fate is said to be determined later this week, with more witnesses set to testify either for or against the embattled governor on Wednesday. David Mudhoka, TV47.
All right, in that story on Waiguru, and I think you've also seen what has played out in regards to how serious people can take these matters, Eric Otieno, as it is. This is also captured on the front page of the People's Daily, and the impeachment hearing embattled Kirinyaga rubbishes claims of abuse of office, tender fraud, and flouting of the Constitution. She says that the allegations are part of a political witch hunt that should be dismissed. And here we are, the Waiguru factor again. After months and months and years of talking about the NYS saga, we are at it again.
Waiguru story, I will put it in two ways. One, it's more of ethical story. Ethical story goes bilateral in two areas. One, the politician in Kirinyaga and the Waiguru herself.
Yeah. What
does she feel when she is put on limelight in matters, I don't want to use a very harsh word, in matters mismanagement or loss of public funds?
Yeah.
And why is it that it only happens when she holds on any public office? How does she feel and what does she take about her generation? She will be Waiguru today. She has kids and her own people that will be in this country longer. will they not take the curse? And the curse will be to them and to their generations. So how does she feel? Okay, she may not have done it, but why her name always? Why not many other people who have held such positions? Secondly, the ethic to the county members of Kirinyaga, not members as MPs, but residents of Kirinyaga.
Yes.
They were told that there were ethical issues by the other politicians. They were informed by newspapers, TV, radios, that there were loss of funds, NYS funds, under Waiguru. They brought in a hashtag, our thief, our choice.
Yes.
They got their choice. And this is what I want to ask the Senate. The choice of Kirinyaga people is that they wanted to have their thief to live with it.
Yesterday
So,
I was having this conversation.
okay.
Let me just distract you a bit, yeah? And of course we come back to that. Yesterday I was having this conversation, and the talk on board was that sometimes actually the electorates do not have a say. They just go there for formalities. They just go there to, you know, play their part, what is considered to be a constitutional role. But eventually it's the system that declares and decides and selects the person who's going to be there. So do you suppose then, honestly, in as much as maybe yes, the televisions, you know, what was purported, what we saw on ground is that yes, the people of Kirinyaga desperately wanted to have Waiguru. Was it a genuine move? Was it someone who was placed there by the systems? Or indeed, they are supposed to face it because they went out there and elected her and chose her as their governor?
Madam, let me ask you a simple question. If you are not a performer and you always get E, even if the system assist you so much in education during your exam, from E, can you get an A?
It becomes hard.
Very impossible.
Yeah.
So what happens for this person to be a governor? Even if the system played part, even if, I'm not saying it did, even if the system may have played part, but she may have had 60% already in her bag, so she only needed
40.
A bit
of
injection.
40, 30, yes.
Yes, a bit of injection or massaging. So now, that's what I'm saying is, a part of the Kirinyaga residents, they made a choice. And the choice was loud. And they played politics with this choice. They were informed what is going to happen to them. They said, no, we want to live with what we want. They were given two choices. I remember during Jubilee campaigns. One on the right-hand side was Waiguru, on the left-hand side was who? Martha Karua. They were presented to them. They took the other choice. So, and this is what I would tell Senate. However much Waiguru may have played part in this, but let people of Kirinyaga stay with their choice. Sometime, mtoto akililia wembe, wacha ajikate nao mpaka siku ile atajua wembe ni kali.
Wow, that's an interesting one for once. Okay, well, in as much as maybe it's an endorsement, well, a harsh endorsement for that matter, that has been captured on page 4 and 5 of the People's Daily. And MCAs, of course, Waiguru used proxies to steal the 145 million that they were talking about. Tough talking MCAs right there. Probably looked like they were ready to argue their case out. So we can only wait. It's a proceeding that is ongoing. We'll update you, even as indeed, in a way, the Senate did not allow Waiguru to have her dance as she would have expected moving forward. So also Ward's representative dismissed Ngilu claims linking Kalonzo to Oyster bid. Indeed, we also have heard of this talk that there are likelihoods more governors might face the direction that indeed Anne Waiguru is facing right now. So before we delve into that, or even we take a look at that because we've been looking at it throughout the week, let's pick this one as a key PPP member of Parliament, Amos Kimunya, has officially taken over from Aden Duale as the majority leader in, of course, the National Assembly. And while giving his exit speech, a confident Duale expressed satisfaction in his 7 years at the helm of the majority party in the House. However, according to lawmakers from across the political divide, party loyalty costed the Garissa Township his powerful position.
Kilichokuwa na mwanzo hakikosi kuwa na mwisho.
Those were the remarks of Aden Duale at the National Assembly on Tuesday as he handed over to Amos Kimunya as the majority leader. A position Duale has served for 7 years as the first National Assembly majority leader under the current constitution. While issuing his exit speech, the Garissa Township Member of Parliament claimed he did his best in deliberating the party's agenda in the House. Duale, however, believes his political interest and his association cost his Oster.
Interests also keep evolving, and hence one's opponents today might be his or her friends tomorrow, and vice versa.
Although he has been termed as a leader who fought through thick and thin for Jubilee in some instances, he has been seen as moving away from the president's agenda outside Parliament.
There are no positions, and we are not here to create positions for the allies. We are here, and the president brought us here as a country to make sure we have a national, democratic, transparent discourse.
Duale failed to attend a BBI rally that was held in his Garissa County, a move that was criticized by a section of Jubilee legislators.
And one of the reasons I want to make it very critically, and I've made it even to my party leader, is that your function partly has been hijacked. And that's why I did attend the BBI rally in Garissa over the weekend.
Members of Parliament speaking in Parliament praised Duale for his 7-year service. However, his loyalty to the party has been questioned by some members.
My brother, when you see us following Baba like cows, we are fearing consequences like the one you are facing now. So politics is like that, Mukova. It's a good experience for me. I will be more loyal than I was now. I will sing Baba throughout.
Duale is been removed, not because of underperformance, but I think it's because of the politics.
Is that loyalty to the party chair and the party leader is very important. Honorable Speaker, if today you take my blood sample, you will not get COVID-19. You will get red blood cells being Uhuru.
Immediately after Duale's ouster, the deputy president took to Twitter to congratulate Duale and concluded by telling him, Mbele iko sawa. Joash Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
And there we go, also captured on the People's Daily, page 6, change of guard as Kimunya succeeds Duale in the House. And this is talk that we've had since Monday. Okay, well, not really since Monday, because then, yes, there was that point where Duale was saved from the purge. What could have informed the U-turn, according to you, Otieno?
Duale should have been left out of this seat a long time ago. They took a long time to remove him. Probably they thought removing Duale would have brought a lot of emotions and counter-attack in Jubilee, but I thought not. Duale has no such backing. Duale had lost favor from so many people, and his own MPs really were sure he's not going to be the majority leader again. Shock to them that in the other Jubilee parliamentary group meeting, his name was not featured. Later, they started picking signatures to remove him. They took majority of them, and Duale had to go. Duale has made 2 mistakes in his life. One, he went with a group that wanted to outshine the master. And in the law of power, it said, don't move with a person that is dying. You'll die together. So Duale, that was a mistake he did, and they were outshining the master as the majority leader. And there was a majority thought. You know, the head of your party is always the majority. Even if you're the majority leader, he has the veto power. He says that I want BBI. And here you are the majority leader, you don't want BBI. what will happen to you? You'll
But
definitely
in a way, Tangatanga endorsed the BBI, though they had some reservations. And I think democratically it is allowed for you to differ in as much as you're in the same party. I mean, there's that freedom of differing, I mean, for as long as we're bringing facts on the table.
There is no freedom of differing in a party.
Okay, so they have to complement each other in whatever capacity.
You have to follow the party as per the party leader wants it to be.
All right.
And you had Suna MP, he said, if you hear us follow Baba like that, it's because we don't want to also to do what? To go through the same purge that you're going through. Meaning, following Raila is actually following ODM. When he says U-turn, U-turn. He jump, you jump. When you're up there, you say, I'm here, do you want me to go further up? But you don't start questioning before you are in the mid-air jumping. So that's what Duale did. He started questioning before he even starts the BBI move.
But as they say, he has done his duty so well. And some people would argue then, we've said that it's out the good and in the bad, looking at the history of course, Kimunya himself.
He did so well when he was doing it for the party leader and for the party. Then he became himself. When you are following a certain party, you don't become yourself. Even in religion, when you are following the norms and the doctrine of a certain church, like Catholic Church, you don't start your own ways. That one you'll be excommunicated. Like, for example, there was this priest who got married and still wanted to be a Catholic Church priest from somewhere in Western Province. He eventually got excommunicated. You don't have your own ways. You have just to follow what is brought in, and you jump and sting it. That was the unmaking. So when they said Duale did so well, I tend to argue no. Duale was one of those politicians who were always insolent. Their mouth were out to abuse anyone that was going their way. Their way was always the way of Jubilee then. So today, saying Duale did very well, we remember someone talking about Ipesa siya ndugu yangu. I don't want to use that word, it's really not okay. So was that not abuse in front of television and in front of the masses?
So Kimunya is the best replacement in your own opinion, based on the aspect of loyalty and fronting the interests of the party. What is left of the aspect of looking at what the people would expect? I mean, which again, of course, we know very well that they hold the sovereign power.
Kimunya may not be the best, but now we are dangling about politics of even central region, not province. We have regions. Central region. When you look at where he comes from, Kipipiri, that's Nyandarua and Laikipia region is almost one region. That region, for some time now, they feel they're out of government. Secondly, their son had been removed from the ministry. That was Kiunjuri. They had to find someone else who would have the same clout, the same move, and the same powers as what Kiunjuri was. And remember, Kiunjuri is being touted to be someone else's deputy president. So that he doesn't run away with the masses, they find someone else to take and cover the deficit that they have brought to themselves. And Kimunya getting that position is a calculated move that Kiunjuri doesn't wake up.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's wait and see what will play out in regards to that. And we cross over to a different story. Wiper Party has threatened to expel former Machakos Senator Johnston Muthama from the party for violating the party's rules. And he's been given 14 days to explain himself and, argue his case and respond to a letter demanding him to say what action should be taken against him. Let's take a look at that.
The party has written to the vocal politician demanding an explanation on why he should not face a disciplinary action for violating the party's constitution. Muthama, who has been given 14 days to respond, risks being expelled from the party.
Enough is enough. We didn't want to go public. It was an internal matter, but if somebody is totally errant, indisciplined, and even destroying the good standing of the party, well, we've got to go public and he has got to answer for it in accordance with the Constitution.
His words coming after he publicly declared his support for Deputy President William Ruto for the 2022 presidential election. The party accusing him of going against his opposition leader Kalonzo Musyoka, who recently entered into a coalition agreement with Jubilee Party.
So if he decides to go and work with him, he's already forming another party, I'm told. Let him go and join that other party.
It's a party. You go to toe the line of the party. If you don't, you either leave or you'll be made to leave.
The former Machakos senator, who serves as a member of Wiper's NEC member, has recently been a strong critic of President Uhuru Kenyatta's administration.
And here we go with that story. I mean, the politics that have been happening across different parties, are just out of this world. The purge is real, and you can clearly see that also this has extended to Wiper Party. Are they justified to throw shade at Johnson Muthama, who again argues that maybe this was not the right move to proceed and join Jubilee Party?
My opinion to this, you find that the party leader, just like the Constitution Article 1 says, that you can have powers to, it says about exercise of power, either directly or indirectly. When you have a party leader, you give that party leader power to exercise that power for you people. So indirectly for you, your power, you give it to the party leader. And the party leader can decide, I'm joining Jubilee. And you can't question that. You just have to follow Jubilee, just the way Wiper did. Muthama was already following Samoei Ruto. And he's been touted to be one of the Ruto's kingpin in Ukambani region. And you cannot have two heads in the same pot. One has to just live. So Muthama purge is coming, and I don't know why they should even have so much energy on Muthama. Muthama is not a senator, he's not an MP. Probably he holds some official seats in the party, and I think that's why they are doing that. But that is so easy. They should just call a national executive committee or national management committee, and they remove him. They don't have to come and make a lot of. No, you see, this is not an MP or even a senator where now you'll have, he is elected, so you also have people who follow or who gave him votes.
But he enjoys some numbers.
He enjoys some numbers. Yeah. And we are finding ourselves in a very critical and funny situation. Here is Ngilu now in Kitui County. What's happening there? Has Ngilu taken away like Waiguru has done?
Yeah.
I don't know. So we need to be told. And if it is politics, it's going to be very harsh for Kalonzo. Having that two governors from Ukambani Nation are already finishing their 2 terms. They have nowhere to go but finding a space for themselves. This space can be the cabinet secretary or super governors if there will be a position of that hierarchy. If there will be no. And these 3 governors in Ukambani Nation, remember, they are all party leaders. One is a party leader of CCM. I don't remember. The other one is a party leader of NAC. The other one is a party leader of Mazingira. These are all party leaders. Maendeleo Chap also. If these 3 party leaders now decide to merge and bring their resources together, will Wiper survive? So sometime when we are fighting Ngilu, we should look at what could happen. And the scenario are that is possible. In politics, there's nothing that is impossible. That is still possible. So we are waiting to see the Ngilu factor in Kitui, how it is going to reverberate all the way to Makueni. Yes.
All right, now that you mentioned the DP and the fact that at some point in time, Johnson Muthama has been seen to be, trying to join the brigade. He is besieged and, of course, now 6 church leaders trying to bring them on board and the youth towards ensuring that, probably he fronts his agenda and all that. This is the second time that the DP is holding a meeting with religious leaders in just under 1 week. What is the game that is being played here?
when I need to control you, I'll use the church.
Oh, yeah.
Because you will not question what is in God. And if the church leaders say, we are going this way and this is the anointed, you will find people who really believe the church leader talks directly from what comes from God. And this is what Africans have been made to believe, not Kenyans now, Africans. When you wanted to control Africans, you brought the Bible first. You taught them not to question. You taught them everything doctrinal in the Bible. Then after that, you brought the machinery as you brought the Bible. Little do you know that we now didn't have the milk areas of our country, like Tigoni area had gone, Mau area, it was Mzungu's place. So the same way we are going. And you saw during the Uhuru Ruto campaign, they went kneeling all over the nation. Hands were put on their head that these are the kids of God. They are watoto wa Mungu. So one thing brings the other. When Hitler wanted to control, he brought his own religion, and he brought his own religion book. Many may not know, but Hitler has his own Bible, a religious book. Many of the people who control the world come in the name of Bible, and they come in the name of religion. So religion is fallacy here, and let's not follow because you see someone being so religious that you think they are so godly. Hell no.
Right.
No.
So, and now that you mentioned the African concept, I think we cannot go without mentioning the elections in Malawi. Why I'm mentioning this is because I also remember what you have rightfully put, during the DRC Congo, and how much instrumental the leaders were, the religious leaders were, in terms of deciding whether Kabila will exit the stage or not. And this time around, we know that polls have closed in Malawi, and indeed the counting is underway, even as, of course, President Mutharika's election was annulled by the courts over irregularities. A historic move right here. I don't know what will take or what will happen in regards to the same. But also they are dealing with this at that time where the global fraternity is equally dealing so much so with the COVID-19. We can only wish them nothing but the best. Also picking a different story, the Ministry of Health has disputed the controversial statistics on the high number of teenage pregnancies in the country. Let's take a look at that story and what we've compiled, and we come back to get your reactions on the same. And as much as the ministry is disputing that, I mean, who is out there to give us facts on what is happening and whether indeed these numbers that have been projected are true at all? Let's listen into that.
Over the past 1 week, a national debate has emerged over the controversial high number of teenage pregnancies reported across all counties. According to the statistics, the number of teenage pregnancies per county has doubled over the past 2 to 3 months, with counties such as Machakos recording numbers as high as 4,000 teenage pregnancies. Education CS George Magoha also refuted the numbers.
I want to dare say that the numbers look obnoxious and very high. As a physician, I want to tell you that pregnancies don't show before they are over 3 months. And if we are talking about the time this started, the majority of the pregnancies have not shown.
The Ministry of Health is the latest government institution to refute that those numbers are not official numbers from the ministry and that they are exaggerated and untrue.
The current data from the study that was highlighted has been found to be inaccurate, especially when you look at the extrapolation in terms of our antenatal visits by the teenage mothers.
According to the Health CAS, Dr. Mercy Mwangangi, despite there being a rise in the number of vices during the COVID-19 pandemic, the actual number of teenage pregnancies in the country is only a third of the statistics released a week ago.
We have reviewed these numbers, as earlier mentioned, and so far, in terms of our burden, we're able to note that amongst the challenges faced is that teenage mothers do present late to the clinic.
Dr. Mercy further says teenage pregnancies is a global issue and the government is putting in place mechanisms to aid teenage mothers during this critical time.
We are putting in place mechanisms, one jointly with our development partners and with county governments, and I'm sure you've seen some of these initiatives across the different counties, to ensure that we have, one, youth-friendly clinics available for these teenage mothers and fathers, two, to ensure that these services are actually friendly.
Despite government officials disputing the high numbers, what remains indisputable is the fact that there is need for a lasting solution to curb early pregnancies across the country. For TV47, I'm Zainab Mohammed.
And so the government is as confused as we are, because, of course, when the Ministry of Health speaks, when the Ministry of Education speaks, we know very well that the government has spoken. So who is to give us the correct numbers? Who is to give us the truth of the matter as it stands?
The Ministry of Health is talking as the Ministry of Health. They should actually get the numbers from the counties, because Magoha is in the Ministry of Education. Ministry of Health, we've seen Madam Mwangangi, Dr. Mwangangi talk, and I would want to ask her to review her words, because they devolved the health sector. So for them to have statistics, it starts and ends at the county level. So they only get the statistics from the county level and make the national statistic. Why are you disputing what the county has given, whereas you gave them roles and to play? So they tell you, Machakos, we had 4,000, and then you're disputing. You should have told them how did you get this? Because initially, what used to happen, we had forms. These forms, you would fill them. We had dispensary. A report from dispensary will go to the district. You make a district report. District report, you go to the province, you make a provincial report. Then the provincial reports come to the Ministry of Health to make what we call a national report. Right now, we rarely get to that level of national report, because we have up to the county reporting. So we have sub-district, which gets from the health center and the dispensary, then from sub-district, from sub-county to county. And then county makes a report and look at that report and make deliberations on what to do at the county, because money is brought to the county. So what the county do, they write a report of how much money they would want to do something, this and this, to the national. So the question is, how did the government get that? Two, getting a pregnancy test is very easy. You don't need to start an antenatal care clinic. ANC, you go because you've decided, I'm going to carry this pregnancy to end. Many of, and I will say many, go do pregnancy tests, but decide to do what they're going to do. Please, I am not accounting for the wrongs that other people do, but I'm saying, so how do you know of other pregnancy tests? If you want to follow ANC pregnancies alone, and vis-a-vis don't follow the other ones, so what are we saying? So when the county one tells you we have 4,000, don't dispute. They may even have gotten statistics from those people who don't follow ANC. That is. And let me ask another question. Our nation, what is the age of consent in Kenya?
In Kenya. Well, the debate was there on whether we should leave it at 16 or we should take it to 16.
No.
It is not just
15.
yet. Okay.
15. The international age of consent, most of the countries that I've seen, they're at 15.
All right.
Some are even as low as 13. Why do you put the age of consent at 18?
You are of the idea that we should reduce that to 15 and 16? Really?
Yes. Age of consent.
Okay, well, that's a different debate altogether. I think we're going to have that some other time, but that's an interesting one. I think we need to take a short breather, but not before we touch on this one, because then it will be more or less the end of the newspaper review. MPs now move to cut a price of unga, wheat, flour, and cooking gas. Cost of the commodities to decrease. This is what they say if President assents the financial bill passed by Parliament. Good news, or until it is, it proceeds to that point, is when we can celebrate.
My question is, how do you handle kitchen economy to mitigate to the economy of the nation?
Okay.
That is kitchen economy. When many people argue that economy ni mbaya, economy ni mbaya sana wakati huu, unga imepanda na shilingi 3.
The high cost of living, it should be about the people, don't you think?
That is kitchen economy.
Okay.
What is economy of the country? Is driven by natural infrastructure. Are we able to sell our horticulture? Are we able to sell, to get our mining well and do well? Are we able to have enough timber from team sales, all those other companies that, okay, that's natural infrastructure. Are we able to harness and use water resources? If we use that, then our economy will strengthen. When you go to South Africa, Durban city, you'll find they have big pipes that take water from the Indian Ocean into their water company and brings it to the taps as clean water. Why not Mombasa? Kisumu and the whole of Nyanza region is just a water basin. And you'll find people pulling carts of fresh water in Kisumu, what we call mkokoteni, whereas the lake is just 300 meters away.
How successful has South Africa been able to do this? Because remember, sometimes last year, but when we were talking about a dry Cape Town, a dry different cities, people were not able to access water.
Water was there, but what was happening, they have what you call population. Population was in Cape Town. Population is really huge. In South Africa, Joburg is much huge. Durban is overpopulated. So what they have not done now is enhance everyone gets enough water. But that happens. It's not as bad as Kenya, where we have so much water, and still you will see in Nakuru town, where they have Lake Nakuru, people pulling carts. So we cannot talk about economy and making sure that we cover the poor person from purge of economy when you don't get enough of the economy from the natural resources. So what we are going to do is remove money from unga. Unga will go down, then increase electricity bill.
All right. There you go.
What have you done? Nothing.
Nothing. Literally nothing.
Let's use economy, what God has given us. We have a lot. If we have enough water, then that pesa ya maji ile unanunua kila wakati, mtungi moja shilingi 50, you will buy unga.
Okay.
And you see things will balance. But you don't, and I don't know. I'm against that. Let's know our unga is 140. Ukaange ukujua ni 140 na stima ni 100 na haitawahi geuka. Then you remove unga, then you pandisha stima. What have you done?
Well, there you go. Interesting view right there. Thank you so much, Eric Otieno Ragalo, for the great insights. I would have wanted us to touch on the cartoon edition, but I think I'll leave it as a picture for you to figure out what it is that it speaks of this morning, as we take a short break, and we'll be coming back with more on the discussion segment, where we take a look at the current affairs, the issues that are happening right here in the country. Of course, we discuss politics, we discuss matters, corruption, and so much more after this break. Welcome back to Morning Cafe. Time for the discussion of the day. We'll be having about an hour or so. And joining me again is Ragalo Otieno Eric. Thank you so much for your time, political analyst. And we also have Dr. Justus Juma, who's the leader for Justice and Freedom Party, joining us to expound more. I mean, now that we are more into the aspect of politics and in the world of politics, I think it's only fair that we discuss this. Gentlemen, good morning once again.
Morning.
Yes, thank you so much for your time. Dr. you well?
Well, thank you.
Yes, and we've touched on the Waiguru impeachment process that is ongoing. Taking us back to yesterday and the proceedings that were there, what do you make of the entire process?
Well, in the view of Waiguru alignment, I missed out a little bit of yesterday's parliamentary proceedings. And listening to our lawyer through specific clips that I watched, she was well and adequately presented. And of course, there were concerns previously by dissenting voices in the Senate who already thought that our case was already determined based on our affiliation with the BBI initiative. And that was a concern, according to them, which was not probably going to reason with the intention that the MCA had. And I know this might still remain a challenge, for especially on corruption cases, because looking at our structure of government, should you align yourself with a specific outcome, as long as you are friendly or playing the ball, various political powers. We have the new terminology in the city. You can be sanitized and you can be declared clean, kama pamba, if I may quote specifically. And I think this is a challenge because corruption, we all know if corruption is a serious pandemic. Actually, corruption is worse than ever the coronavirus.
Eric here is of a different idea, Dr. Allow me to cut you short before we bring him in. Yeah, he is of a different idea. He says that we should let the people of Kirinyaga face the music based on the choices they have made. I want to play the devil's advocate in this case and say that while we could be years into devolution, it's just the second phase of it, and one would consider that inception stage where we're trying to figure out how best devolution can work for us. So probably we could just say that maybe they did a mistake, and it is not right to say that the Senate should let them proceed and face the music based on the choices they've made. Would you say the same, or would you say that in the event that she is found culpable of course, the allegations leveled against her, then we should proceed and see her going home?
Well, those who normally accuse a citizen, I tend to believe that it's not polite, especially for the citizen, if one understands the political process. Most of these political parties have really not embraced the democratic participation of the citizen. In fact, most of these nomination certificates have been issued based on how psychopath or how well you play to the tune of specific political group. And this actually has stage managed results and effect that at the end of the battle, most of the best candidates which citizens resonate with normally get eliminated. And as a result, you end up with one case scenario. And these are the situations that a number of counties are facing. You've seen the Kiambu people seriously impeaching the governor. The governor of Nairobi, you've seen his face as well. And then these are following suit. And by the way, some people refer to certain candidates as computer-generated candidates. If you can analyze well later, you'll find majority of governors who got, or candidates who got 54.4 or 3%. All of them are going through issues. And this, I think, is a good clarification that probably these guys never came in through the will of the people. And these are the challenges from the future of the past. And going forward, parties should embrace effective democratic process. Parties should allow citizens' choice, because it's the citizen who is the sure who knows the country they need. And the process as it is continuing, you can see still whether you are not a citizen and you are for specific political affiliation, you can still be signed, even if the citizens are spoken as loud as it is.
All right, let's bring in Eric. And just speaking out from that, if you listened to the proceedings yesterday and the vocal MCA pinpointing or looking at this and saying that, you know, this is not just for the people of Kirinyaga, and I think we all agree to it. This is for the people of, you know, Kakamega County. This is for the people of Vihiga County. This is for the people of Muranga County and different counties across the country. And most importantly, this is for devolution. In the event that we'd say that indeed the Senate should be, of course, be coerced to, you know, a predetermined solution to this or answer to this, what would it mean for the fight of ensuring the devolution is a success for the benefit of the people?
Thank you. I want to give my opinion, especially looking at the doctor yesterday, Dr. Gore.
Yeah.
Dr. Gore gave us a snapshot of what is health, what bedevils health in the counties.
Mm-hmm.
Issues of employment is a problem there.
Mm-hmm.
And you see what is happening in Kisumu. For the last 3 years, I don't know, doctors there and nurses have gone on strike the most. And even the time of Corona right now, they are still on strike. And what does that tell you? The counties have failed in human resource on the side of medics.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the issues that made me support BBI, that we may return the human resource aspect back to the national government. Let the national government employ, let the national government do what? Distribute doctors and nurses and clinicians, all these medical staff to the counties. Secondly, employment in the counties of all this, it's more of let me use the word tribal. You'll find, if you are from Kiambu, you'll find many employed there who definitely will be speaking one language. I'm not accusing, but that is a fact.
Yeah.
And you'll find, if you're from Siaya, you'll find more Luos would be happy to get employed home. What does that make it? It will make it that if you are from a certain group speaking a certain language, you will not go to a certain part. Let the government, main government employ, and they will decide. Some years back, I was employed by the government. I found myself in Mwala, and I'm not from that region.
Right.
So what informed them to take me to Mwala? It's their own wisdom. They didn't decide that way. So that is one. Two, devolution has a problem. How do we take care of resources, especially monies that go to the counties? Most of these counties, their governors are becoming rich overnight. You saw the Kiambu story where monies were taken to, were actually being dished, and tenders given to sister and brother and daughters and the sons of the chief.
But there was still this talk that we're talking about right now, you know, where people said the people of Kiambu elected Waititu, so let them suffer the consequences. Do we really want it to be that way? Do we really want to still maintain and glorify corruption to that level?
That is not glorification of corruption.
That is
giving the people what they wanted.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. Homa Bay County, they keep complaining how their governor is not helping them. But who is going to assist them? It's themselves. When the time of voting comes and they're given options, what do they go for? What Kirinyaga people went for? They went for Kumira. They didn't go for voting.
All right.
They said Suti. So they voted Sut. And you know what that this Sut means? You vote anybody that is in this party irrespective whether he's going to assist you or not, whether he's a thief or he's an angel. These people find themselves, and many in parliament and in other leadership positions, they are there just because a suit was done to them. So that is exactly what happens in Luo Nyanza. I'm saying Luo and many other parts. They are told suit, and it is a suit. So if they did a suit, let them wear it. How bad would it be to wear a very red suit from the head to the toe?
But just how many good leaders do we have out here? Maybe we should bring in Justice to hear his take on the same, because there are times when you'd say, okay, well, forget the tribal aspect, forget what party we are affiliated to. Let's vote this person based on their manifesto, based on their ideologies that they are presenting on the table. And again, they end up failing you. So at what point then do we confidently say that we have leaders that are indeed good enough and we confront them and get justice at the end of the day? Justice,
the political process, same as it stands, what needs reforms? Like he's citing Omar Bay case. You need to remember that Omar Bay, where the election was contested, taken to High Court, and High Court declared that there were irregularities actually found, and it went to Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal also nullified the same election. And it is Supreme Court that sanitized the same election that was cancelled twice. So sometimes I'm a bit hesitant to blame the citizens. We are taken captives by a few political dynasties, if I may put it right. Because there are certain tribal kingpins who have decided to reward with nomination certificate to their cronies and individuals who are their psychopaths. And these are the individuals who, if you go back to 2017 Maraga ruling, there were massive infiltration and irregularities on the election process. I'm certain and preview of Kenyans whose election, who defended the electorate as a result, and brought in Meru, we have one of the youngest, one of the youngest MP. And we have also very effective governance. If you were to evaluate the individuals who are rated and are performing very well. But in the dominant arena, where we are now actually pushing for actual reform, is where certain individuals have taken captive the electorate. Leaders we're talking today, the national COPA, through the constitution, do finance political parties. And this financing actually is limited only to 2 political parties. And these political parties are the individuals. Right now is Jubilee and ODM, and Jubilee and ODM. And ODM political history, we've always known. Jubilee political history, we've always known that you're seeing the current attacks that are taking place. And some are also not friendly to the citizen interest. And these scenarios are the things that we are addressing, especially when you look at certain established political processes. There are provisions where emerging political parties are even getting affirmative action where they are supported and funded to bring out the ideologies, to bring out the policies and the manipulation. And these are what has made these democratic states more effective. Our democracy right now actually is being suppressed and being dictated to by certain individuals whose ideology actually has been rendered aside, because some of them, the premise of how they were championing their cause actually are on the things of the past that does not resonate on the change quest that the current generation needs.
All right, there we come. And still revolving around that and not overlooking this case that, was there, or the Senate proceedings that are ongoing. One would argue then that in a way the Senate had also set a precedence that, they should not go away from, based on the argument that we had yesterday morning right here on Morning Cafe. You can always grab that on your YouTube pages or on our social media pages. And The argument was that you had already set a precedent with Waititu. We saw what happened, and indeed the impeachment proceeding, sailed through. So, in as much as Madam Anne Waiguru has the right to defend herself, and this is being argued, so at least we see whether there is a tangible case to proceed and impeach her. Do you suppose then that that was a set pacer, that was a trendsetter, and indeed the people of Kirinyaga could be choking, and probably the Senate should proceed to impeach her for the sake of the people of Kirinyaga, not to predetermine what will happen?
If I were...
Now you can go first, Eric.
If I were in the Senate and I was one of the senators, I would impeach Waiguru immediately.
Okay.
Given that I would not look at allegations per se on misuse of funds, because people look at misuse of funds as the main allegation. What is corruption? Even that woman who was supposed to go to maternity and they did not get enough equipment for their delivery, that alone should make you go away.
That would mean almost all the governors should go away.
What I'm trying to say is, if you are given responsibility, and some responsibility are so high-end responsibilities, can you just take care of them? Doctors go on strike. Other than getting them back to work, you ask them to go home. When the union come to talk to you, you tear gas them. That alone, you should go home. Because when you tear gas medical practitioners and they go sneezing and coughing, running away, you still expect them to come with such a good heart and do a BP check and a heart check and a cesarean section or whatever surgery to your patients in the county, hoping that they will get their money, and now that they have been tear gassed. I mean, it doesn't work. Only that which happened the first year should have been enough. I will not check on any other thing, because what if money was not lost and there was miscalculation or misreporting? These are reporting, but some of these things you don't need to report, you need even to see. And why were medical or practitioners tear gassed? What wrong did they do for them to picket? And these people are professionals. This is not political picketing where we are making a noise all over. We are supporting what you even don't know. But this was picketing because it is their money. Same as Kisumu. If Kisumu people go to the street today, do you tear gas all those medical professionals on the street wearing a white jacket? It never happened in Nairobi. Why did it happen in Kirinyaga? And are those people happy? And those people that were asked to go home and never reinstated, where did they go? You keep saying we don't have enough doctors. Where are you mistreating even the few that you have?
That are there. All right, the complaints continue across different counties. Dr. Justice, as we get to wind up on this, and one would say that judgment is, of course, sometimes made at a stage of proceedings and how the proceedings are taking center stage. Yesterday, we saw the MCAs arguing their case in what Madam Anne Waiguru would consider as a fishing expedition, political witch hunt. And you literally saw what blow played out as the Senate declined her request to expunge several documents containing witnesses' statements filed by the Kirinyaga County Assembly. While the argument was that the 11-member committee would be, compromised. I mean, setting such a precedent as early as yesterday, throughout the proceedings, what do you suppose would be the likely outcome of the entire process?
Well, Linda, corruption is a menace that needs to be handled and dealt with very effectively, because corruption is a deep pit that is irreversible. Once you decide, when they decide to go down, it was intended to improve people's lives. Actually, the victims of what was misappropriated may lose their life, may fall to the crevices of misfortunes that have been affecting our nation. And if you were to consider their interest, you were to look at the future of the nation and the effect of corruption, then yes, you can be very serious with fighting corruption. And as we fight corruption, of course, also we must be privy to political dynamics and make sure that any judgment is free from any political influence, and there must be a watertight case which can be proven beyond reasonable doubt. And that is why such platforms are very important. And I know the Senate has they have serious, high expectation for the citizen, especially by the fact that they have not appeared to be independent. You remember when it came to the recent removal of the Senate Majority Leader and the cleaning of the Jubilee House and then the handshake and the remarks around it. So far, all these are painting a picture of an independent Senate, and of course with the executive order, they're also assuming that the executive might have an upper hand on this. So again, if the interest of the executive is to retain Waiguru, then yes, citizen will be a worst case and sad situation in the country. And I'm certain whatever Senate will do, whether they appear to be doing their job, their work, if the executive wants to go in bed with Waiguru, make sure that they preserve political persuasion based on our position in BBI, then it will be loss of the people of Kirinyaga, which will be very sad. And if she was to come up or to be cleared, I would rather she be cleared through effective presentation so that she is tried beyond reasonable doubt and we have an effective outcome that is free of any manipulation.
The bigger picture, and now that you brought the aspect of BBI, I'll come back to you, Eric. You say that you support the BBI. Well, we're still waiting to get the actual report out of it, but we've seen how actively Waiguru has been, involved towards ensuring that indeed it's a report that is embraced by the people of Kenya. If we were to overlook the aspect of justice and what is expected and what would have been argued well at the level of the Senate, we clearly see how involved the executive would be, how involved other parties would be, how involved ODM is, directly towards ensuring that they save or they salvage the situation for Waiguru. What does it speak about, the interest of Wanjiku, the interest of the common Mwananchi, that when the bigger picture, the big guys, sort of have their own interest, they have to ensure that it is met, and they overlook what it is that the interest of the people that they are supposed to represent?
Well, Waiguru is very instrumental in BBI from the start, and that's when I give her accolades, because it's her political view, and her as a human, she also have her own mind to decide which group to work with or not work with. Let's not merge BBI with Waiguru case in Senate. Well, we see, as people are saying, that the group that is in the Senate, the committee that is in the Senate is actually a committee that is friendlier to Raila Uhuru faction. I may say they may get surprised.
Yeah.
Why? Gideon Moi is putting himself into a situation coming next year, maybe on this year, that he wants to run for presidency. Of course, he's even said it, that he wants to go for presidency. It is his time to show that he will be there for Kenyans or he will be there for the cronies. So many other guys there are also in the same game, going for even higher offices. And seeing that, they may also want to get an image of themselves. Waiguru may go. It's not a surprise also. Where she may go, one, maybe political, so that it opens space for a political game plan in the Kirinyaga area or that region. Remember, under Kirinyaga, we also have other guys who are working in the government, who are under the government of Jubilee today, who after the election, they may not be holding their offices. And being a governor is the safest or the smoothest way of retiring from civil service into another political service. Remember Governor Kimemia?
Yeah.
He was in the civil service. So he retired to political service by becoming a governor. So there are other games that could be in play. Either one, Waiguru survive but don't become a governor again because she's tainted. Two, Waiguru leaves, the deputy governor becomes the governor, but will be weaker to push his political agenda, hence not becoming a governor again. Because the reasoning will be, you cannot cut him out of the other, because this is a governor, he's the deputy, so anything happening, he was private to.
All right.
You understand? So one could be political. Two, there are issues that can also make Waiguru go. So let's not incline our mind thinking that because she was pro-BBI, she will remain. What if she goes? What will you say? She left because she was pro-BBI. It can work the other way around. But if I was asked, I would make her go because of health. You don't play with people's health. You can take their money, but then give me drugs. You can go with all the monies you want, but give me drugs. Make sure my wife gets good health care, ANC to delivery. Make sure my kids at antenatal, postnatal, up to 5 years, they get free medical service. Do it. But go with all the money you want to. If at all, eventually, it will not take you anywhere.
Yes, of course, brings us to that question, or begs the question as to what many have been saying, that probably in the first place, health could not have been devolved. But anyway, subject to discussion some other time. Now, let's come over to the great alliances that we witnessed today, the formations, the political formations that are taking center stage, the coalitions that are being formed, and the Wiper Party now threatening to expel Machakos Senator Johnston Muthama. I think we've touched on that on the first segment. And Justice, coming to you, are you planning to have your party join any of the key or the big boys as it stands?
Well, the political system in Kenya for now is alliance-based. Those are not options that one can rule out of the table. But I think every political party needs to resonate and identify with the interests of the citizen. As it stands, a number of political parties are coming together for various reasons which might really not be ideological. Because looking at the current number, hunt campaign, the Jubilee government is on the run to solidify their numbers, especially on the various houses, as we've seen recently. Actually, compromises the integrity of various political organizations, because if people stood for certain ideas, that's what should merge us for leaders to come together. And if you are just coming to add the numbers to maybe just get a political reward, I think Kenyans can judge us, and they will judge us. Sometimes I'm sure very harshly if you or what we call symbocrats, because the opportunity Jubilee government has, and even in how they are handling the current scenarios, Linda, schools are still closed, churches are still, some jobs are still closed. We expected Jubilee government to come up with very effective economic policies to look at this crisis. And the key was to protect jobs in the long run, as long as provide a relief mitigation. Linda, if you go to Kenya and how the slums, even their houses, right now is not even slums anymore.
As many would argue, Dr. Justice, as many would argue that the world does not stop all the same. In as much as maybe there's so much to deal with in terms of ensuring that we strike a balance on the COVID-19 pandemic, I mean, politics has to be played. Other activities in the country have to go on as they are supposed to go on. So in as much as we'd want to point a finger at them, don't you think also, yes, politics literally runs the world, and hence we should not stop politicking, we should not stop other activities just because we're dealing with COVID-19?
Well, as the world dynamic, yes, it should not come
The
at
United
expense.
States is in politics mode right now. Uganda is in politics mode. We've seen Malawi from an election.
Fair enough. United States came up with the economic measures to protect jobs. Here are cases where even the president's own companies.
He has a team already. He has a team set towards addressing that. Why are you ruling out this team even before it has started its job?
Because the convention of the committee goes to leaders through this pandemic. You know, the committee is chaired by ODM party leader. And looking at his engagement, looking at his responsibility, and also is relevant to the issues that were affecting Kenyans. Actually, these are some of the reasons why these things are not effective. If you are to form a coalition, form it for purposes of the interest of the citizen. And if the system is always against a leader, however much you try, you cannot use the system, the owner's armor to dismantle their own house. And these are the challenges we're having. Whoever is going there to join them and their interests and their priorities are not proceedings, then definitely.
And even when we're talking about joining, Doc, before you proceed, let me just bring in Eric. Even as we're talking about joining, I mean, in response to the same, former Senator Johnston Muthama argues that, he vomited Wiper as, early as 2017. So you are writing to a person who's already not, affiliated to you, or he argues that he's not part and parcel of you. I mean, what does it speak of this? And why would you decide to write to a person who's not a party to what you're doing or to party to your party?
Linda, I even told you before that these people are wasting time talking to Muthama. Muthama is not a senator. He left Wiper in before 2017, actually. He never stood for any political seat. He actually refused. And words were going around that even Raila came in to ask Kalonzo to come with Muthama, and then they can get a truce. And theirs is irreplaceable. They went different directions, Kitambo. So why would they keep talking about Muthama 3 years later?
So what do you think they seek to achieve with this?
They are seeking to achieve nothing. Reason. Muthama decided where he wanted to go. I'll give you a simple example. What is wrong with Muthama being seen with Ruto, and what is right with Farah Maalim visiting Raila Odinga in his office in Capitol Hill? It happened just the other day. Why then should Farah Maalim not leave and go and join wherever you want to go? Why read politics?
He's categorized as a under the umbrella of NASA coalition now that, of course, is also part and parcel of the Wiper fraternity, and also he's a former ODM member of parliament.
Actually, Farah Maalim is more ODM than Wiper.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of the founders of ODM. He's been there longer than he is in Wiper. So he resonates well with even ODM members than Wiper. There he went to start. Actually, when he joined Wiper, I'm very sure he was trying to get everybody's name. In ODM, he doesn't need to. He knows everyone, because most of the people got him there.
But this one reduces us to the Ukambani politics in a way. So we're looking at what does Wiper stand to lose in the event that they lose Muthama. Like we had said earlier on, we all acknowledge that in as much as he's not the senator as at now, he has a say in the Ukambani politics.
Muthama was one of the great founders of Wiper. And Muthama, having moved to wherever he will go, he will carry the charisma. Remember, Muthama, when he talks, you laugh, he makes jokes. He'll carry with himself charisma and the money. And all politics is about money. You can't run around if you don't have a shilling. About political realignment, where is the Third Way Alliance? Why aren't we asking
now?
ourselves?
Yes, that was my next question actually. Third Way Alliance now, in a way, trying to incline itself with the likes of Tanga Tanga after meeting Boni Halwale, that is indeed the party leader, that is Aikuru Aukot, meeting Boni Halwale, who's again also one of the key figures right now as we speak on matters Tanga Tanga.
Could Ekuru Aukot be placing himself into a situation where he wants to do a deal? And if he wants to do a deal, which deal is he going to have? Is he going to place himself as the governor to be of his county? I'm forgetting. If not Turkana, it's West Pokot County. And you understand the politics of that region is more of KANU now than it is of Jubilee. Of Jubilee. So when he goes there, is he going to tilt towards Tanga, the politics of West Pokot? We wait to see. And all this happening is all politics. It's not about Mwananchi. Mwananchi's situation is about the kitchen economy that I was talking about, but more of, can they get the infrastructure that have been placed by the government that favor them? Can they get enough of industrialization? Can they get jobs? That is the most important. And my brother here is arguing right. What are the mitigation aspects where, how many people have lost jobs? Even the biggest media now, people have lost jobs somewhere. We know. How are they going to feed their own family? And what are the mitigations on how they are going to survive the next 3 years before they even get their monies? Okay? Tomorrow you'll find one of your friends or one of my friends from the other side telling me, Eric, this and this. These are persons you didn't expect they would ask you for an assistance. Today they ask you for us. So what is the government doing? And how are they going to wake up microeconomy projects like Juakali sectors that are shutting down? Those are the questions people are asking. About realignment, about coming together of this Wadosi, like other friends call them Wadosi, that is for their own. And they know why they come together because of their own businesses and what have you. And how about the business of the small man? That is the most ideal question. And I'm against the reduction of unga, sugar, and all the other things. Because we've seen they will reduce sugar and unga, but fuel will go up and other things. So fuel is still the same one that goes to the engines that produce unga. So it is still going back to Mwananchi. So why don't we put mitigations of putting up infrastructure and leave unga be there so that when the Mwananchi is able to buy unga, whether it is 200, he'll be able to buy it.
All right.
So when you reduce, you're not helping him.
You're not helping in any way. All right. And still, as we delve deep into matters politics, Dr. Justice Juma, key points that are being brought on board right there, because then, well, the talk is always, I mean, it's only genuine and it's only fair that we speak about the interest of Wanjiku. But again, these leaders do not really care. Theirs is their biggest interest. And when we're talking about their interest, we're looking at the top key 7 figures in the country and all struggling for survival, a gulp of air, and we're looking at 2022. Do you foresee a scenario where we're going to have key contenders, 7 presidential candidates that are key figures in the country? And what would that mean for the elections at that particular time in terms of the numbers? We're looking at Ruto, Gideon Moing, the likes of Raila Odinga, the likes of Mudavadi, Wetangula, just to name them.
Well, it's unfortunate that I'm not top on your list.
Okay, well, you are also top on my list, but you know you're not actively involved in politics. Instead, you're actually actively involved in looking at the interests of the common Mwananchi, what the people are looking at.
Actually, of the in politics here in this show this morning, and the leader, the dice is cast, and they can but eliminate themselves because they have the opportunity to serve the citizen interest, and as it sounds and it looks, it actually is a loud communication that they have they're not interested about. They're not caring about the citizen. The duress, the stress, the economic challenges, leader, good economy leads to good democracy. Bad economy leads to bad democracy. So there is no any leadership that anyone will offer outside effective, in a good economic environment. And if they're not taking up measures to correct our economic misnomer, if they're not putting economy as a priority, actually these guys are busy losing jobs. When they were establishing, the economic, the COVID-19 response coming, they decided to populate it with interesting politicians, with interesting businessmen who donate 200 million, and then he goes back and fires a number of employees who are going home to do nothing, to turn into, and another critical moment when they needed their employers to turn together. And these are the same interesting politicians who are also given positions which is supposed to help Kenyan life. Actually, the hunger virus right now is killing more than the coronavirus. Instead of these individuals coming out, later you've seen us out in campaign, giving food relief and supporting people psychologically and inspiring them, those who are committing suicide. You've seen people committing suicide, even in the media house, due to the economic dispute. So, Linda, these are things that are self-selling, and citizens don't think Kenyans are stupid. They are looking at these individuals, and we can judge ourselves and know who has interests of citizens at heart. And these hypocrites who are always guided by their own selfish interests, they cannot sacrifice us anymore. They cannot be pleasing. You cannot allow them to be pleasing us anymore. It is time for citizens to start looking for leaders who have the interests at heart. People who will sacrifice for their behalf. Not there. People can feel them. These people cannot actually serve them with justice. How can you serve with justice when your hand is full of blood? How can you talk about economic liberation when their pockets are bursting with loot that they've gotten from the government? These individuals will follow up actual life and pocket leaders. You will definitely actually kill them today, because some people cannot justify the amount of wealth that they have, and they're using it instead of serving the interests and interests as personal gain. And these are the persons who must take care of themselves, as we are talking about political alliances.
All right.
Most of these alliances, speaking for you, that the alliances are driven by their own selfish interest, but not the interest of the city.
Okay, well, speaking of it, it's a game of interest, Eric, as we wind up on this one. Game of interest, selfishness, because then you would equally say that you'd want to protect your own interest first before you think about your neighbor, before you think of how best you can help the other party. So do you also foresee a situation where we're going to have all these key contenders as presidential candidates in the event that probably we do not go for a referendum? And what would it mean in terms of balancing the numbers and also the interests of the people?
All of them will run for presidency, but not all of them that will find themselves in the ballot. They will run for presidency so that they can have a table of negotiation with the likely candidates that are going to finish the race.
Okay.
That's what usually happens.
Then what will happen? There are key contenders. Look at that, and the threshold that is needed.
We have Wetangula, who has been running for Ford Kenya presidency. He's never been in the ballot, even a day.
Okay.
But he's been there all the time. This time I'm going to be in the ballot. And even now, he's going to be run for presidency, but he will not reach the ballot.
All right.
Some of them are political negotiators, as we call them, and they're going to be there with us for long. It's upon you and me to know where our political negotiators go, and if that is where they are going, we run away from them, because they go there negotiating for their own stomach, not for you. Because after they have negotiated, when do they come and assist you? No, they don't. Let's look at the very serious people who really want to be working for us and working with us. The other problem is we lost the glory of our country in 1962, before 1963, where political negotiations started, where now KADU had to be negotiated to stop being KADU, join KANU, so that you become this. That is where most of the political negotiations started. And when the first president took power, he continued with political negotiation and crafting politics. And that is where most of the things we lost it. It would have been wrong, and it was wrong for Jaramogi to be outside for that many years. It brought about a political blockade of a certain side against the other side. And you would see That is the time Kenya became almost Eastern Bloc, Western Bloc. Since you're not assisted from these people, then go Russia, you at least will get something. So we had two wings. A wing of education is being taken to America, and a wing of another wing, and let's not forget this, because people forget that there was also a wing of educationists being taken to Eastern Bloc. We have people who are also in the government many years back who went to Eastern Bloc through the Jaramogi Foundation and this other side. So when they came to Kenya, we already had a broken country. How did we lose it?
Yeah.
And how do we make it work? We lost it politically, economically, and socially. Socially, we became enemies of the other. Enemies of the other comes in where now somebody uses your own tradition to hit you politically. Don't vote Nani, they don't get a cut. Don't vote Nani, they are perennial thieves.
Yeah.
That is wrong politics. Those are the ethos. Well, now I told you why I support BBI. Those are the national ethos we were talking about.
Yeah.
Where even kusema hiyo maneno tu itakuweka ndani.
Alright.
Those are the things we communicated in BBI. And I was very much involved in BBI. Was even in the preamble, you'll find my names there. I will tell you it is wrong to call somebody names just because he's going for a political seat. You should look at that guy's manifesto. What is he bringing? So, going forward, what is for Mwananchi?
Yeah.
What is for Mwananchi is very simple. Who is going to bring economic empowerment in our country? When we had Kibaki administration, we had economic stimulus package. We had the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Planning. Finance was someone else, planning was Anyang' Nyong'o. So a plan had to be made to revamp the economy.
Yeah.
Okay? One of these plans was to open Nairobi. We had Nairobi Metropolitan, then we had bypasses to be done, so that infrastructure would open. I'll give you this, Linda. Look at Eastern Bypass.
Yeah.
Ruiru going to Ruai. When you go through that road today, it's a business area. People have opened that region.
Yeah.
The land rates there is not as it used to be.
Yeah.
So are we not making that place wealthy? Yes. So why don't we open infrastructures in other places, make people get empowered? We stop employing people in our government because we lost money in the first 5 years. We have to be open. Money got lost. Money came from abroad. I don't know where that money went to.
Yeah.
So those are the problems we now facing today, that we don't have money to even employ people. So where do we start again? Let's employ people with the same Kibaki did. Let's employ people with contracts of 2 years. As we manage our planning, then we take them back. And then the youths will get employed. This youth program will not work, where you put youths in NYS, they go fagia barabara, you give them some, that's a locum job.
Right.
It is not empowerment.
Okay.
Employ people. That is when you give them locum today, tomorrow there is no locum. That person was already self-sufficient with 1,000 shillings per day or 500 per day. So what happens after 3 months when they don't have that money?
They will go out there and
give them programs of employment. That is where we used to be. We lost it because what I've seen, when a government come, they tend to brush away what the other person was doing. They start their own. Why don't you have a system where what the other person did, come and massage it and make it better as we continue?
Okay, do we even have change of government, Dr. Justice Juma? And when we're talking about this realignment on matters politics, one thing is constant. KANU is, always somewhere there. And the argument was that KANU will be there for 100 years. Do you suppose then this is the case? And do we even have to change these things? And do we even have to brag about the fact that we are at that level of multi-partism? Well,
Linda, change is spontaneous, and change is not static. And it's okay for individuals who have been there to want to remain to be there, and that one is always a human nature. But when we deal with informed citizens, because the citizens we're dealing with today are global citizens who are very well informed, people who know and understand democratic expectation in various political regimes, not only in Kenya alone. And if they were to be competitive and be second to none globally, if possible, then the change in leadership that they need must resonate with the issues that they need. But when I look at the KANU regime, what are the manifesto? What are they campaigning on? Jubilee came on various promises, which about 10 years down the line, we can see all their promises. Just the other day, the court declared that even the SGR was legally acquired, tender. And then you've seen the challenges bedeviling them, especially with serious issues around corruption. Linda, you mentioned a very crucial point there regarding transitional authority, which we are lacking. The fact that Kenya today does not have consistent economic development. Say that for an economy to be conceived and for it to grow, it takes 5 years. And our electoral calendar in Kenya today actually is the same 5 years. Unfortunately, the formation of government, any incoming political parties, as we've seen, if we were to compare with Jubilee, they took the first 1 year organizing the government, the cabinet. And the second year, as we see with the handshake, and the last year, it's always used in campaign. So these guys hardly have time to formulate an economy and a growing. In other words, for them to survive, they actually have to just resort to heavy borrowing to create certain activities like the ones that they're doing. And you see, the heavy borrowing has had far-reaching effects. It has inflated tax ratio, and with inflated tax ratio, it has inflated high cost of living. As a result, the Jubilee government actually got If anything, they've had more trouble. So if we are to really vote and bring in the change that Kenyans are longing for, and that's where we need to engage the citizens to wake up. The reality they need to wake up, because the global community is not static, waiting for your tribe to come and rule, waiting for your whoever is playing cards around to come and rule or steal or our time to eat. The global community is continuing, and they are ruthlessly focusing on this market as a consumer-based market, where you've actually witnessed, Linda, our government, instead of the economic policy being informed by the ideology of our populace, you'll find that the ideologies that are informing the economic policy actually is external. And science and technology ideology, which is majorly about 20% population of our town dwellers, is what has been driving us. Whereas you know that Kenya actually is majorly agricultural economy. We are agrarian farmers. We are fish farmers. We are cattle herders. And instead of formulating a policy to be in line with these individuals, you find our focus has been on science and technology, which we are but consumers in the external, in the infrastructures which are owned by other people. So if we are to really be independent, you have saying that we are not yet old. Because if we are to really be independent, our economic infrastructure should be independent and resonate effectively with our people. And these are the things that political parties or next government should be discussing. So when you're talking about the dynasty of KANU, the dynasty of these other political parties, if they refuse to get to be in sync with the change dynamics, because the change is the change we're looking for. Actually, we are no longer talking about colonial government. We kick them out. We're not talking about dictatorial regime that they want to bring back. As we are looking at them, you saw the other day the executive orders which were being pronounced without proper constitutional consultation. When they are talking about democratic space, you already have democratic space. Now we need economic growth.
Economic independence. Yeah.
These are the things that we are pushing for, and if any leader can resonate with this cause, then that person will be in sync with the Kenyan citizen, and that person can be voted in. And
We can
I'm not
have a
saying
leader
that in those-
who has all that, at heart, and probably, proceeds to push for the same. But again, I say that economic independence remains a dream if at all we're not able to deal with the aspect of corruption. And again, lately, we've seen how much there's been projections of cases of corruption, the latest from the Kenya Law School officials who are accused of, leasing 198 mega scandal, and that amounts to about $1.8 million. And as it stands today, we have seen also what played out, and this case by the likes of Mohammed, tabling a motion that would push for the impeachment of Transport CS based on, of course, corruption, gross misconduct and all. I mean, so much so coming out in regards to corruption. How best do we tame this fast so that moving forward, if we have dreams for a better economy, then we'll be able to successfully achieve that? Eric.
Our dream for a better economy is, Linda, corruption will not stop.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're fighting a losing battle. We cannot even blame the leadership.
Do you know when you stop by a police officer and you hand him 50 shillings, that is not corruption.
Okay.
Yes.
That is. All right.
That is, they call it chai. Our breakfast here is chai. Morning cafe. So they call it chai. Nowadays they call it sanitize.
In fact, I even had someone say that mi nakunyonga strungi tu. So that means usitoe kubwa sana. 50 bob is enough. It's strong tea is enough.
Ama siku hizi anakuambia ni sanitize. You wash his hands. Corruption is big, and we may not be able to finish corruption today. Corruption is, even ideologically, we are all born in corruption. We met corruption as we came to this earth. And the only way to finish this corruption is that person who doesn't have, make sure he's able to take care of himself. And corruption will start losing meaning. Because why do we have corruption thriving? Is the difference between the rich and the poor. When you have that huge gap, then corruption will thrive. Reason is, when I am corrupt and I'm very rich, and Linda, you want to remove me, I will buy you because you don't have.
Yeah.
I took 2 billion from the coffers. And Linda, you seated there, you only need 1 million. And you signed the paper that you didn't see it.
I will buy into that.
You will buy into that. Let's just be honest. So if you make sure everyone is comfortable, then even the corrupt will lose meaning of taking too much, because nobody will even be looking at them with awe. It is very wrong in Kenya if you have a sexual scandal, you lose your seat. But if you have a money corruption of money scandal, you will not lose your seat. Because when that time comes of campaign, you'll have the biggest car. And people will be like, wow, mkubwa anakujaga namna hii. Some will even tell you, mkubwa anatokaga juu.
So that's our mistake, because the society has made it look like, you cannot be in power and fail to have money.
You can never win an election, Linda, if you are working.
Sadly.
You are poor. Sadly, someone will tell me, and my brother said someone won an election in Meru, a youngest MP, and he was riding a tuk-tuk and a bicycle campaigning. Those are very rare cases. But in this country, you will not win an election when you're walking on foot. A mheshimiwa is supposed to be seen driving a big vehicle. And that is the problem we have today. You don't have a wedding, Linda, if you don't have a big vehicle, hata kama ni ya kuomba. No one wants to do a small,
anyway, ni za kuomba.
And that is how it is. Mbona ungangane gari kubwa ambayo ni utachukua ni ya kuomba? Why don't you just go to church and finish this thing? So that is how politics has been made. What happens is, when they do this and they use so much money in their campaign, then what do they do when they get their seats? So corruption starts with us, corruption of the mind, that you've been put in a situation that mkubwa lazima awe anakaa namna hii. So whoever comes the other way, like where I came from, Ruiru, you are told Shoromai, that is in Kikuyu. Shoromai is where Shoro is it's called what? A flute.
All right.
You use a horn,
Uh-huh.
but for it to give a very good pitch, you have to put water in it.
Uh-huh.
And then when it gets wet, you pour that water. It will give a very good flute pitch.
Okay.
So Shoro is so if you want that person to go with your agenda, aongee sana na apige kelele,
Yeah.
lazima umpatie maji.
Okay.
So when you go to campaign, Linda, in Ruiru, they will tell you, and that's what they told me last time, Shoromai. Then they tell you, Shina Jeshi, Choma wanajeshi is a youth now. So when you give them money, what are you trying to do to them? So when you complain someone is taking away your money, you took it before they took it.
All right, interesting. And on that note, gentlemen, I'm afraid we might have to, of course, end up this show. I would have wanted us to discuss what is left of devolution. Devolution was looked at as one of the key factors that would, strike or push economic independence. But then again, like it is, corruption has been devolved too. So that means then this quest that we have of getting economic independence is not nigh. But then again, we do not relent. We keep hope alive. Dr. Justus Juma, leader, Justice and Freedom Party, thank you so much for your time. And the political analyst, Ragalo Otieno Eric, thank you so much for your time too. We're crossing over to a different segment after this short break, so don't you go anywhere.
Thank you.
and Morning Cafe is back, and of course we're here to make sure that you are enjoying your morning. Guess what? We have an interesting session right here because we'll be taking a look at simple breakfast tips. I think breakfast is important, and I mean, courtesy of your feedback, courtesy of your calls, we ensure that at least every other day or every other week we'll be giving you breakfast tips on what you can do quick and step out. We always say that breakfast is the best meal of the day, so you have to ensure it's balanced. You have to ensure that you're making the best of it. I mean, keeps you going, gives you so much energy throughout the day. And we have a chef joining us on board. He will introduce himself and tell us what it is that we're making simply this morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Salimia Wadau.
My name is Morris, Chef Morris, very experienced chef.
All right.
Yeah, I've worked in several restaurants, so I'm proud to be TV47 today.
And we are happy to have you this morning. And now that umejipigia debe namna hiyo, sasa tunataka kuona what do we have for the day. We only have Chef Morris here specially not to talk about matters cooking and all that, but specially to discuss what best we can have for breakfast. And he's made something simple that you really did not need to have at Imoto ama nini bachelors sasa wako hapa. You keep saying that sina jiko, sijui gas imeisha overnight and I am scared. This is it.
Especially right now that tuko na COVID-19, you don't need to make a very expensive breakfast.
Yeah.
Just a very simple one, and then we are done. Yeah.
All right, so take us through what is it that we have today. The ingredients first of all.
So I got green pepper here.
Yeah.
Some cucumber. I have a fruit, so orange, tomato, onion.
Yeah.
And then a bread, toast of bread. So basically we're gonna make maybe a sandwich, a very simple sandwich.
Right.
It's not necessarily you have all the ingredients because we're considering the situation at the moment.
Right.
But basically what we have here, we should make a simple sandwich.
And when we're talking about a simple sandwich and we're talking about good breakfast, then we all need to know, are all the nutrients incorporated in this breakfast? Will I have my my carbohydrates? Will I have my vitamins? Will I have my proteins incorporated in what we have this morning?
Yeah. All those comprise of the full breakfast itself.
Yeah.
But right now we're gonna make just a vegetable sandwich,
right?
Which is just a vegetable kind of a dish.
Okay.
It's not comprising of the cereals, the wheat, whatever. It's only milk and the vegetables on a toast.
And in my simple understanding, in milk we have proteins, yes.
Yeah.
In my simple understanding, in the vegetables and the spice, they are called green spices. We have the vegetables, and on the bread we have the carbohydrates. Boom, we're good to go, right?
You're right.
All right, so take us through now.
Okay. So first of all, you need to make sure your hands are clean and your ingredients are clean.
Right.
They are already clean here. So I'll just prepare a few of them.
Yes.
Shortly.
Okay.
This is how we do
How
it.
quick can we have this? Like how fast can someone fix this and they're good to go?
Oh, this is just 5 minutes or less. Yeah.
All right, 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay, let's see.
So
take us slow, man. This is to do mambo yako slice
Fine,
namna hiyo. That's why you're a chef, yeah?
yeah, I understand. So let's put that there.
Okay.
We'll use it. Then
So in this case, you're trying to slice, with some shapes, eh?
these are called rings.
Okay.
Yeah, these are called rings.
All right.
So we're gonna use them a few minutes.
All right. Remember, it's all about healthy eating. Ensure that you have the best of breakfast. You step out of the house with so much, energy to take you throughout the day. Like you said, especially at this time of COVID-19, remember we're told by the Ministry of Health that we need to eat healthy. We need to keep healthy. So courtesy of Morning Cafe, we give you breakfast tips, simple breakfast tips that are going to take you throughout the day. And we'll be doing this every other week. So make sure that you keep it Morning Cafe every other time.
Yeah.
I mean, the ladies out there need to surprise their men.
Of course.
Mkate kila siku tu ni mkate mpaka breakfast becomes boring.
And the ladies feel very nice when we chefs cooking for them. Yeah, they feel nice.
My chefs
very romantic, I think.
Are you?
I think it's romantic.
It is super romantic. That is to tell you, if you're a man out there, you need not to wait for your wife to do this thing for you. I mean,
if she's away,
for a moment, just be out there and help out and see whether you can help the chef. And I mean, you can do this for your woman and all that.
Right. So after you slice your bread, I'm assuming this is my sauce for now.
Okay, so you need a sauce. This is chili?
Yeah, we need a sauce.
Which is, upon preference.
Yeah,
if you prefer,
preference.
that's okay. You don't necessarily have to have it.
Right,
okay.
Right. So, I can put I arrange my tomato here.
Right.
Yeah, like this.
Okay.
This other side, I can put my cucumber.
Yeah.
It's just a very
So it's a
simple
vegetable
recipe.
sandwich here. It's
Yep,
pretty simple.
yeah, very simple.
Yeah.
You put it right there.
Okay.
I can add this, but it's optional.
And yes, again, you can add as much ingredients as you
Yeah,
want.
as
Something
much as you
else,
want.
yeah?
Yeah.
Lettuce, you can
Yeah.
have your
Right.
coriander.
Yeah. So this is my vegetable sandwich, a very simple sandwich.
Well, and the planning also is something else, yeah? They need to look
you need to
beautiful.
arrange them in such a way
Presentation,
that
yeah?
your ingredients do not fall down
Yeah.
when you're munching. You
Okay.
understand? Yeah. So it's just simple.
There you go.
Yeah, here you go.
Uh-huh.
So
this is your
these are my toppings.
All right.
Yeah. I have the sauce down here.
Okay.
My toppings.
Uh-huh.
So
if the camera could capture that, let's allow the camera to capture that so we do not miss out on this beautiful. I mean, it looks lumptious enough, honestly. I know sometimes we overlook. You just want to do your bread and to drink butter. So here we go.
You can either put meat here.
Yeah.
Whether cooked meat. You have to put sauce down.
Right.
So it's a choice of sauce you want.
Okay.
Either sweet or maybe
sour, depending on your preference.
Depending on your preference. Your vegetables here also depends on your preference.
Yeah.
So I chose tomato, cucumber, onion, and my hot sauce.
Okay.
So your bread also, you need to get a sandwich bread, not any other bread.
Not any other bread.
Yeah.
Okay, what makes it different when you talk about a sandwich bread and not any other bread?
A sandwich bread is much bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger in size,
okay.
800 grams. Bigger
so
than
this
the
one
normal.
comes already sliced.
No, this one,
if you have to buy, or you slice this one.
It may be sliced, or it's a block.
You get a block and then you slice it yourself.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, yeah.
All right.
So, actually, this is my simple sandwich for today breakfast.
Okay.
Everybody can be able to make this. It's very fast. Like 5 minutes or less, you're done.
Good to go.
Yep.
All right. So why did you choose milk as opposed to any other drink this morning for us?
You see, this one is a vitamin, so I need some protein.
Okay. So to balance this,
Yeah,
so it
to
would be
balance
much better with milk as opposed to juice and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So and
But
the orange.
if it's a full breakfast, it needs to have cereals. So you need juice, a fruit. So it's all round, all balanced.
So in this case, when you decide to put like a slice of meat or burger in between, then you can comfortably take juice. You can comfortably take, tea, black coffee, and all that.
So next time I'll show you about a full breakfast.
Okay.
A full set. Where we'll have cereals. You'll have the toast itself.
All right.
You'll have the sandwich and the toppings inside.
Okay.
And then you'll have maybe juice or something sweet. Yeah.
My breakfast is made this morning. I'm sure you must be at home and you're thinking, well, how lucky can Linda be? It is so simple. You can fix that at home. So one would ask, where does the orange then come in? Now that we have the orange.
The orange comes after you take the milk and the
Okay.
sandwich. That's when you take your orange.
Yes. Slice it.
Yeah. You cut the edges first. And then maybe you can cut.
Yeah. So do you eat them almost immediately, or you first take your time and then come take them later on? Because sometimes I'm being told that, as in health-wise, nutrition-wise, it's good to take the fruits earlier, or better yet, after you've eaten, take some cool 30 minutes, then go and, now feast on your fruits.
Basically, when you're eating, maybe you start with the starter. The starter is always, most of the time, is hot.
Okay.
Maybe with soap.
All right.
That makes the starter.
All right.
Then from there, the dessert is cold. So if the starter is cold, the dessert is hot.
Right.
So for us, this is a hot milk.
Okay.
So we'll have a cold.
All right.
Called
more of a dessert. Yes.
Yeah.
So this
so
comes in like
after you consume the milk and the sandwich.
All right.
That's when you take
your fruits later on.
Yeah.
All right. Health-wise, I think every other time that you are in that aspect of of duty, you always advise that it's good to eat healthy. And some of us are fond of junk. First of all, by the way, when you look at a sandwich, one would tell you that is junk. I mean, would you speak to the people today and tell them that actually it's probably not junk? It's probably the best meal that you can have, and you rest assured that you are well catered for when it comes to the aspect of nutrients, when it comes to the aspect of health.
Okay, when you maybe for example when I'm making this sandwich, I'm considering the chunkiness.
Yeah.
So, but when I put my vegetables inside, that's not junk.
All right.
You see,
that ceases to be junk and it becomes officially something that is good, worth consuming.
And again, vegetables give a lot of vitamin. They are very nutritious.
Yeah.
So mine has no junk. But at times you find you make breakfast with junk. That's when you put bacon, you put too much eggs. So it becomes so much junky.
All right.
But if you take just this simple hot milk, sandwich and a fruit, you're good to go. Yep.
They say the breakfast is the best meal of the day or the most important meal of the day. Why?
Because it opens up your mind.
Yeah.
Because from sleep, you take something, the first meal is always the very important meal.
Yeah.
So, because if you take a good breakfast, you even skip your lunch, take dinner or 4 o'clock tea. So, but if you don't take your breakfast in the morning,
right,
something wrong. Something wrong
will definitely happen.
Yeah.
So when we talk about portions for breakfast, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, you're saying that you're going to take us through, how you can have a whole meal breakfast, next time. Then one would want to ask you, well, sometimes when you wake up in the morning, you really do not have that appetite. So when we're talking about portions and how much one should take for a breakfast meal, I mean, how do you ensure that you're able to take all these meals that are important and, balance your time at the same time? Remember, that time is rush hour, you're rushing out and everything. So how do you start preparing so that before you're stepping out of the house, you've had enough time and you've also had, proper breakfast?
Okay, before you prepare food as a chef, you need to have a plan.
Yeah.
So if you're planning today, I'll make this kind of food, you need to plan for it first. So if it's the ingredients, you need to purchase them, prepare them in advance. And then you consider all the nutritional value of it.
Yeah.
If it's protein, you make sure you have protein in your food, carbohydrate, vitamin. But mostly, the nice breakfast should have vitamin.
Okay.
A lot of vitamin.
Or lots of vitamins.
Yeah.
Or why?
Vitamin will help you to boost your system.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's in the morning, you need your boosted system in the morning. Not food that is junky to make you sleep the whole day.
Yeah. All right. Sometimes we ask ourselves as family, because we are that family setup. And actually, right now that you said, courtesy of COVID-19, everyone is at home, and many of us probably could be having, we're suffering, some diseases and all that. Some of us, would not be saying that we'll take anything at all. So when we talk about a healthy breakfast that incorporates every other person in the family, would this be good enough? If I am looking at this is white bread. Probably someone who's diabetic would not go for this. Or someone who has a lifestyle condition would not go for this. So how then do you ensure that you juggle around that to make the best of something that is going to be well received by the entire family?
Okay, for example, maybe in the setup that we have, maybe before I make a certain kind of food, I need to inquire from the one who consume it.
Yes.
So if you're diabetic, you let me know. I know what to make for you. If you're not, you let me know also. I know what to make for you. Then from there, the chef will decide now what kind of food will I make. You see, because you're supposed to make food that will cater for the diabetic, the healthy people.
Yeah.
So you consider all around. So it's upon me to decide.
Strike a balance.
Yeah, to strike the balance, to know which kind of food, what sandwich, all the ingredients I will put there. So it's up to the chef to
now let's run away from that chef thing and come to back at home. Sasa wewe uko home kwako. And yes, you have your family, maybe a family of 6. 3 of them do not have conditions, lifestyle conditions and all that. Some of them have. So, and we also know that life is expensive in a way. You want to get ingredients that are readily available in the market. You want to get food that is going to cater for the entire family. What are some of the key things that you bring on board to ensure that you strike a balance, that everyone would eat at the same pot and you still know that very well they're all catered for?
First of all, is the presentation.
Yeah.
So once I present nice food,
okay,
automatically you feel like, oh, I want to eat this.
Yeah.
You see? So if I give something that is not pleasing to the eyes,
yes,
definitely, even the appetite will not come. You see? So first of all, I need to check up in my also my placement, my portioning.
Right.
You see? Those are some of the things you consider when making. Because, for example, if it's this bread, and I'm making it for a small kid, I won't make cut or big slice.
Right.
So I'll consider a smaller
portions,
slice. Or if it's your preference, you don't need to eat a big toast, you'll also consider consider that.
Yeah.
So if you don't want too much vitamin, you want protein, I will know what to put for protein. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll put bacon there.
Yeah.
I'll put an egg there. And maybe a lettuce inside.
Right.
Yeah. So it all depends. Before you make food, you need to understand whoever will eat this food,
Right.
will he be happy? You
Okay.
should be happy. So it's upon you now to decide.
Right.
And again, presentation is very important.
Right.
Yeah.
And how you
Because,
present
for
it.
example, when you go to a hotel and you find food is just
All over, it's clumsy.
placement on the
and
plate,
yes.
just anyhowly.
Yeah.
It's not fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Timings. Breakfast. What is the best time to have a breakfast? Now, before we come to the aspect of the portion, because you brought a very pertinent point. Sometimes we really do not know what amount of portion one should take. And, you know, sometimes if you're given a choice, like you say, you will take what is not supposed to be taken. And that is just human. So how do we strike that balance? But most importantly, first of all, the timings. You wake up very early in the morning. Maybe you're an early morning person. Some of the people will tell you, like me, I'll tell you, it's hard for me to have breakfast until it's about 10 there. And you know, in most cases you find when you take breakfast and you have a heavy one at that time, then you don't have lunch. Is it really healthy?
You know, it's very funny, eh?
Yeah.
Some of us wake up at 10.
Okay.
And when you wake up at 10, you decide to take tea.
That is your breakfast.
That is your breakfast.
Okay.
And others will wake up at 5.
All right.
By 6, you're down with your coffee or something. That's your breakfast. So breakfast depends on whatever time you're taking it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
but
you're not
I would
limited.
recommend.
Okay.
I would recommend.
Yeah.
Don't oversleep because you take breakfast and lunch together, and that's not a good combination.
Okay.
It's better you wake up early.
Yeah.
Take your breakfast around 6 to 7, 8. There.
All right.
Then you're good to go and wait for lunch.
All right.
Because when you wake up at 11, you take your lunch. It means your lunch you take at 4.
At 4.
And then dinner you take at 11, 12.
Which is not good.
Which is not good.
You're always advised to take dinner at around 6 there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of which, some of us who love eating, you know, snacking in between hapo. So how do you ensure that, well, okay, you don't take too much for breakfast and again find yourself snacking? That's why you probably complain about big tummies and all that. So how do you balance that also?
First of all, you avoid junky breakfasts. So I would recommend a very simple breakfast, maybe with milk. And then if, going forward for lunch, you can balance it ahead there. But if for breakfast, make sure you don't take very junk breakfast.
Okay.
You go. Some of us find buffet all around from there, coming this way. Find Oma, Washe.
But it is because we've been told that breakfast is the most important meal. So
but,
we
now,
want
but now you with a small plate, you put 5 Nomas, 3 Washes, but then after eating, you don't finish them.
Okay.
You see, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Breakfast should be just bits. You see?
Yes.
But make sure you balance it.
Okay.
1 boiled egg. Don't take a boiled egg, then take a fried egg.
A fried egg.
You understand?
Well, I plead guilty. You need to master the So if it's an egg, let it be one, crossover to a different thing. Doesn't matter how it is prepared.
Thing. And if it's possible, egg is protein. Pick a vitamin. Yeah, pick a carbohydrate, pick a protein. Don't take 5 proteins, 1 vitamin.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is exactly my next question, the portions.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'd love 50 sausages. I'd want to take like 5 sausages and
50
maybe just have a
sausages.
slice. Okay, 5. I
Okay,
just
five.
the higher side. But there are people who do that,
Yeah.
So you just want to have your 5 sausages and maybe a slice of bread. And sometimes actually you barely even take milk. I mean, how bad is that?
You say, nitama.
Tama, inailiwa
If
fisi.
you're not used to taking sausages,
Yeah.
one day you find 10 of them in the buffet, you take all of them.
It is only
You
human,
even eat
yeah?
for the others, which is wrong.
Right.
So that's what I was saying. If it's a breakfast and maybe you find a buffet, or if you don't have a buffet at your home, take 1 sausage.
Okay.
Balance it with a white toast or a brown toast. Make sure you eat a fruit.
Okay.
You understand?
Right.
So, and more vitamin in the morning. Because it will boost your immune. So you'll be very active the whole day. But if you take a lot of starch, a lot of fats and this junky food in the morning, you'll be very dull during the day. Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of which, Chef Maurice, as we get to wind up, and by the way, thank you. This is pretty much simple and amazing for that matter. As we, as we get to wind up, this is my breakfast officially. So whether I eat it now or not, it is mine. So there's no question about that, Mr. Director.
You're welcome.
Now, this is what we would want to ask. The mode of preparation, the mode of cooking, in most cases they say is very important. So for instance, one would advise you go for boiled eggs as opposed to fried eggs and all that. So when we talk about the mode, what is the best, would say for breakfast meals?
Okay, so I would say fresh things.
Yeah.
Like today we have fresh vegetables.
And raw, yes.
So if for example, for example, our sandwich here. It's just the simple fresh vegetables here.
Yeah.
If I choose to put a protein inside, this is my choice of vegetables,
Right.
vegetarian. If I choose to put maybe bacon,
Yes.
I'll just put bacon here on top. If I just put egg, I just put egg here on top. Rather, I eat it like this, and then eat my boiled
egg
egg
aside.
on the side.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't take too much of it because you'll be down there. You won't be able to work. Your stomach full, no good
Nothing.
working.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Chef Morris.
You're
I mean,
welcome.
it's been an incredible morning. Today, we're not even going to take a look at what is happening on the roads. It is. When is today? Today is Wednesday or Thursday. So, siku imeisha. So I think it's on a very good note for the very first time on Money Cafe. I am enjoying the best of meals, and this is a promise to you that every other week will always ensure that you have breakfast tips that are going to take you throughout the day. And Chef Morris here should say kwaheri to the people. What do they expect next time, like you said?
Okay, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
This is just a very simple sandwich, vegetable sandwich. Next time we're gonna make maybe a full breakfast setup with the grains, the cereals, all that consideration. So you're very welcome. I need you to enjoy this.
Morning Cafe, as always,
Then
we
we
got you
enjoy
covered
lunch.
with so much. So we'll be doing more of this. Thank you so
Yes.
much. This is my breakfast. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Linda Lela. I was doing this along Chef Morris. See you again tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.